Okay. You can just shut the door, yeah. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, 2019, and this is the first meeting of the month for the City of Tempe Hearing Officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald, and I am the hearing officer, so I'm going to read something into the record, and then we can go ahead and jump into our agenda this afternoon. The City of Tempe Hearing Officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out both the provisions and the intent of the Zoning and Development Code and the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority through ZDC Section 6-310 to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the City of Tempe. Code violations include but aren't limited to deteriorated landscaping, inoperable vehicles, deteriorated structures, storage of junk or refuse, or deteriorated swimming pools. And abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, property manager, or other responsible person to abate a code violation or authorize the city to abate the condition. The cost of such abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurred and may be collected as an assessment or lien against the property found to be in violation. On today's agenda, we have 3 items. Originally, we had 8, but we will be hearing items 3, 5, and 7 today. Items 2, 4, and 6 have been withdrawn by code compliance as they have found to be in compliance with the city code, and items 8 and 9 are being continued to the December 17th hearing. Any property owner who is aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer may file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. The deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on November 19th, 2019. And abatement appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustment, after which they may also be appealed to Superior Court. And the property owner has 14 days to either file, after this hearing, to either file an appeal or bring the property into code compliance. If neither of these things happen by this date, then the property will be abated by the city. Joining me from City of Tempe staff this afternoon are Shelby Meyer and Drew Yoakum. Thank you for your help this afternoon. So I'm ready to jump into the agenda. The first item that we'll be hearing this afternoon is agenda item number 3. And this is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Parchinsky property. This is located at 1330 East Fremont Drive. Ms. Sedler.
Hi, Brandy Zedler, Code Inspector with the City of Tempe. This complaint was originated on May 29, 2019. Our office received a complaint for a deteriorated swimming pool. The property had gained additional violations during the process of trying to bring her property in compliance. It started with the swimming pool. Within by July 16th, there were additional issues with junk and debris and landscaping violations. I did grant Ms. Parchensky a 30-day extension, of which she did nothing in those 30 days to bring her property in compliance, which is why I am now filing for abatement for today, requesting 180-day continuous abatements if deemed necessary, because this property is continuously in violations. It's been in violation 3 times in 2018, 2 times in 2017, 3 times in 2015, and in 2013 and 14, 4 times, all of the same issues, either a pool issue or landscaping violations or junk and debris. It seems that she has a difficulty keeping it in compliance, which is why I'm asking for the 180-day approval. I did provide photos of the property as it states today. There's been minimal improvement.
And there's 2 mobile minis on the property?
Yes, those are going to be addressed through separate enforcement, because those came on as this was already in progress.
Right.
But those will need to be removed.
Okay, so yeah, I can see how it's only gotten worse. What do you do with the case of a swimming pool like that, since it's drained?
I know it's hard to tell in the photos, but there is no water in there. There's a little bit of like dirt and debris at the bottom, which I will remove when I clean up and remove the rest of the junk in the backyard.
So in the gate, that'll be fixed.
The gate, when I did inspect the property, the gate has been fixed. She actually filled in the small section in the back in the alley with masonry bricks.
Okay.
And on the actual RV gate, she had actually corrected that.
Okay, because that's concerning with the body of sometimes water having that open. So, okay, well, your timing is really good this afternoon. I was just hearing the case. I heard a presentation from staff, and I was given some photographs to look at of your property from this morning. Okay, just, I'll give you a second, and then you could approach the podium and speak from the podium. So, Ms. Edler, you said that the communications had been taking place since last May, correct?
Right. I have had some communication with Ms. Parchensky several times throughout this enforcement process, with her indicating that she wants to correct it, but there's not been enough improvement to stop the forward progress with the abatement.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So now that you're here, if you'd like to step up to the podium and state your name and property address. You said you are the property owner. And I know you didn't hear a lot of what Ms. Sedler had to say. She just kind of gave a rundown of the communications and the condition of the property and provided me with some recent photographs. So,
Okay, I don't know where to begin, but my name is Michelle Parchinsky, property 1330 East Fremont Drive in Tempe. First of all, I want to say I'm handicapped and I'm on Social Security. And they used to have neighbors helping neighbors that helped me a lot with those like weeds and stuff. And anyway, I had to pay somebody 3 times to empty the pool because of rain. We fixed the gate in the backyard. That was one of it. So I had a flood in my house, and it went from the garage to the family room. And the company who did it put a lot of stuff in my yard. And it took 3 people on Saturday and 2 on Sunday to empty that. They got 2 pods, but they're both like half empty. and they stole the key. Yeah, so they emptied like all my house and just left it in the yard. And they didn't come back to finish. I called them numerous times. So I had to hire someone who could help me move the stuff and throw away the stuff from the flood. And in between all this, my mom's dying basically. So I had to go to New York for a month, but she's still hanging on. So I was gone for a month also. And today there was some garbage behind the, give me a minute, the pods. And I took it I dropped it off at the garbage around the corner. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job because I've cleaned up all the stuff. I didn't realize they also put food out there till last night or the night before. And I saw that there was like mice feces, and I'm like freaking out because I didn't even know they put food out there. Anyway, so basically I felt like I had people help in the yard, and the yard looks good. I had people help me move all the furniture and get rid of some. There's still a headboard and a backboard that I got to give to Goodwill. A lot of stuff had mold on it, and then the stuff they put outside got moldy during the rain season. So it's been a nightmare for me. And if I bend down, I start to black out. And I had to hire people, and I don't have the money for it. I owe one guy $1,000. I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyway, I feel like I really tried to get everything done that she asked. The weeds, the backyard, the gate. One gate we just blocked off. And then the main gate we got fixed. And the yard, all the furniture and boxes that were there, I put away all. There's some glass out there on the table and on by the front of the house. I have a lot of glass. And that's about it. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I don't know what she said, but.
Well, she said that this home had had a long history of code violations throughout the years. So that's something for me to be mindful of and to keep in mind when I'm looking at not only the photographs, but considering what we're going to do with your property today. These are photographs that I've been given, and we can probably put them up on the video. They're timestamped today,
Okay.
so they're not from a month ago or 2 months ago.
I should have taken a picture of all the garbage I threw away today.
So they are timestamped from today, and I have to tell you, Ms. Parchinsky, I would not call this adequate progress towards cleaning up the property. I mean, there's, still just a lot of, first of all, overgrown landscape and debris, landscape debris in and of itself in your backyard, chairs strewn all over the place, boxes, some things are tarped, some things are not. I mean, it's just not what the city envisions when we think of, a clean and orderly property that's been maintained to city standards.
I think part of it was like, once you're on their list, you're constantly on their list for everything, I assume. The yard has been cleaned much more than that.
Well, that was this morning, so.
It's been cleaned more than that, so I don't even know where those boxes came from because I thought I did it all.
Well, I don't have any reason to believe that the photographs with the timestamp today are not authentic. And so,
The pool is emptied. I mean, he did it 3 times. I hired this guy, and it kept on raining, so then he had to redo it.
sure, it's an open vessel, so, it gets full of water and needs to be drained and needs to be tended to. And these pictures, for example, the one you're looking at now,
Those are mostly boxes with either glass or other stuff, like we were raking the yard and trying to clean it up. That was all done. That is all gone. I don't know how she got that photograph.
well,
And I threw away all those garbages that are there. If you come look now, I should have taken a picture. And I have the legs for that table. Anyway.
Well, in any event, the way this process works is, I approve the abatement this afternoon noon, which I am going to do, I'm going to approve the abatement. That gives you 2 weeks. As I mentioned earlier in the hearing, you have 2 weeks, a 2-week window within which you can finish the cleanup of your property to the city standards. You can't move a box from here over there
Right.
and consider it cleaned up. You have to make meaningful progress towards the cleanup of the property. If you do that within 2 weeks, then the property will not be abated. If you fail to do that, then the property will be abated, which means the city will come in and they'll, take away, the junk and debris and the belongings that don't belong where they are. And then your property, a lien would be placed on your property that would be satisfied upon the eventual sale of the property. If you don't sell the property, it's kind of hanging out there, but it's not an immediate financial hit, is what I'm saying. So we, here at the city, we think it's a valuable service to someone like yourself who has difficulties, who has to tend to family members, to health needs, and it's a way for the community to keep the neighborhood looking nice and up to standards and kind of get that off your plate. So I am going to approve the abatement this afternoon. I don't believe there's anyone here wanting to speak either for or against the abatement, but I'll call to the public nonetheless. I don't see anyone here. So given the condition of the property that I've seen in the photographs dated today, the testimony of the code compliance officer, I'm going to approve the abatement contained in CE 193879. Good luck to you. I hope you're able to finish the work within the next couple of weeks.
Can I get like the pictures or be told in detail what exactly needs to be done?
Ms. Sedler, I'm sure she's happy to help you, develop a good punch list of, what will be considered up to city standards.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to agenda item number 5. Is that where we're at? And this is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Moulton property located at 1944 East Meadow Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe and Mr. Glab.
Good evening. Michael Glab, Residential Code Inspector for the City of Tempe. Here tonight in reference to this property on Meadow. In April of 2019, my office received a complaint related to violations of code at the property. I mailed a notice to the property owners at the time. In May of 2019, I followed up at the property and observed that the violation remained. I mailed a second notice to the property owners as well as posted a notice to the structure itself. In June of 2019, I followed up at the property and observed that the violations remained. And then I did note that some progress had occurred with relation to one of the violations. In July of 2019, I followed up at the property once again, observed that the violation still remained, and I issued citations to the property owners at that time. In August of 2019, I followed up at the property once again and observed that a violation of city code remained, and thus initiated the abatement process. At this time, the backyard, the dead trees have been removed and the stumps cut to ground level. However, there is overheight growth present in the backyard landscape, and a new violation has been issued for junk and debris related to what is piled up now on the west side of the backyard landscape. At this time, I'm seeking approval for a 180-day open abatement, as we have had to abate this property once in the past, and the delay in getting compliance with some of the issues at this property.
Okay, and what has the level of dialogue been with the property owner? Have they responded?
For this particular case, I don't recall any communication via email, phone, face-to-face with the residents. On the previous case, I do recall a face-to-face contact with a resident, and that was just to say we were starting the abatement process, and then he went back inside the house and we didn't hear from him for the remainder of our visit there.
Okay. Thank you, and I have been handed a photograph of the property from this morning. Is anyone here this afternoon wanting to speak on agenda item number 5? I don't believe so. Well, I agree with your assessment. I can see in the photograph there's still work that needs to be done on the property. A little bit of progress has been made, but then it also seems like some of the items have just been shifted from one portion of the property to the other, which we don't consider to be truly cleaning up. So I am going to approve your 180-day open abatement contained in CE 192914.
Thank you.
The final item on our agenda this afternoon is agenda item number 7. This is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Sari property. This is located at 1131 West Laird Street. Mr. Lara Reyes.
Good evening, Andres Lara Reyes, City of Tempe Compliance Division. I'm here to request an 180-day open abatement at the property at 1131 West Laird Street, Tempe, Arizona, I-5281. This is for a violation for City Code 213B1 in regards to trash, litter, debris, discarded appliances, wood, metals, furniture, crates, and scrap in the backyard. This property received a complaint on April 15, 2019. Same violation, 213B1, trash and debris in the backyard. I have talked to the owner and the son of the owner regarding this a couple of times. There were some correction notices mailed out to the owner also, and one citation. But as of October 3rd, 2019, the property remained in violation, so that's why I'm requesting 180-day abatement. Those pictures presented are from this morning. They do have a city dumpster in the driveway. It was pretty full. They have other stuff that they're getting rid of also. The son asked for an extension. Unfortunately, cannot grant that because property is not in compliance as of this morning. So that's why I'm requesting the abatement. I did explain to them that they have a 2-week period where they can clean up the property, bring it into compliance, and we put the abatement on hold. But it's a possibility that it will be on hold for 6 months as long as the property remains in compliance.
Okay, thank you. And yes, I've just been handed 8 different photographs of the property this morning. I see the dumpster, so I see that some effort has been made, but I mean, by my estimation, it would take probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 dumps of that size of a dumpster to really clean up the property to city standards. So, and like you mentioned, this communication goes back to April. So
Correct.
there's been kind of adequate time for this property to be cleaned up. I do have a card. I believe the property owner is here. Are you Mr. Sari? Okay, if you'd like to come forward, as you saw before, as Ms. Parchinsky did, I'd like to hear what you have to say.
My name is Mark Sari. I am the owner of the property, 1131 West Laird Street. As Mr. Reyes said, and he stopped by this morning, took pictures, my son and I continued working on the property. One of the main problems at that point this morning was metal. And surprisingly, some guys drove by in the alley. We had been trying to contact someone to take the metal. So they stopped in and took essentially 75% of the metal and said they were coming back for the rest. We continued cleaning up the area in the backyard. And I do have photos of that you could take a look at and see and compare them with what's there. And the way it stands now, there's a dumpster out front, as Mr. Reyes said. It probably will take another maybe 3 days to finish it. So that's the remainder of the metal. There was a lot more of the metal there. The guys are supposed to come back and pick that up. They may have done it now. I'm not quite sure. Another shot of that. Now this is an area that now has been cleaned up in the back. Another area under the overhang, cleaned up. back against the house. You can't see alongside very well on the side, but that's been all cleaned up and weed whipped. Again, along the fence, that would be the west fence. This is a back area where there was a wood pile. We took that out. And there is a boat on a trailer. There's another shot of the backyard.
Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing those photographs.
You're welcome.
I do see, oh, thank you. I do see that progress has been made on the property. So like you heard me explain to Ms. Tarchinsky, the best part about this process is once I approve the abatement today, it doesn't happen tomorrow. It's not like trucks roll up tomorrow. So you do have the 2-week window within which you can finish, the progress that you've been making on the property. Sounds like it'll be done, like you said, within the next day or two.
It's going to be a couple days to go ahead and just finish it up.
Okay.
And get it done.
So, and I thank you. I mean, I can't even imagine the kind of work that has been put into this. It's been quite an effort. Nevertheless, I do think it's appropriate to go ahead and approve the abatement so that, but I mean, it sounds to me like you're well on your way, probably 80% there. So within the next 2 weeks, doesn't sound to me like you'll have a problem making the abatement go away by completing your cleanup. So I don't think there's anyone else here to speak on this item. So I am going to go ahead and approve the abatement for the property located at 1131 West Laird, contained in CE 192685. Thank you and good luck to you. That concludes the items on our agenda this afternoon. Any announcements?
Yes, Madam Hearing Officer, if you would just, for the record, state that the approval of the August 20th, 2019 minutes.
Oh, yes. We did that in a different manner. We didn't approve them at a public hearing.
Yes,
but
on
I
September
did,
26th.
yes, but I did read them and approve them and communicated my approval in writing to Community Development Department staff.
And then the next hearing would be on November 19th.
November 19th, yes. Thank you. We're adjourned.